I guess I'll start because.
Take it away, Lindsay.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Sarah's having some issues with her internet, so will be joining us hopefully shortly.
She's here in spirit.
She's here in spirit, yes. And we can kind of see her looking frustrated, but she can't see us.
She might be frozen.
Or hear us.
Or hear us, yeah.
She might be frozen. She's not even frozen.
Oh, she moves. She moves.
It's just what she looks like.
Just
an angry
frozen.
statue.
Very angry.
Sarah can focus.
Together.
Yeah. Okay, so I chose The Hating Game, a novel by Sally Thorne. This is her first novel, I believe. Actually, I was going to double check that, but now I didn't. So I think it's her first novel. And I chose it because I don't think that we've done anything like this on Book Interrupted. And I thought it would just be fun and light. I read the book ages ago when I decided one time that I was going to write romance novels. So I decided to read I bought a whole bunch of romance novels, and I read them all, and this was the best of the bunch. But when I reread it, it was still pretty cheesy. But that was the very, very best of the bunch. Some of them were so bad, I tell you. But anyways, and I just thought it would be a challenge because, the whole idea, remember the whole I love self-help thing that I went through at the beginning. I thought, I don't know that all of you will, this might be a challenge for some of you. So I thought it would be fun to do. And yeah, so what everybody think?
First, I'm going to say for a first novel, I'd say it was really good for a first novel, but this was not my book.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found it very boring, which is weird, right? Because it's like, I listened to the audiobook, which the audiobook lady.
No.
I think it's fine because she's like, it's supposed to be steamy and she's got that like steamy voice that you might expect in like a corny porn. I don't know. Or like
corny porn? Is that a brand?
Trying to sound sexy. Everything they
porn?
said was said in like a kind of sexy way but it was just too much. It just made it boring because it was just like so a lot of the same. But it was like, oh my god. So like, we know what I do when I want to get through a book. I like listen to it fast.
Listen to like a chipmunk. So chipmunk corny porn.
That was fun. But I was like, I don't know. It's not that I'm not. I mean, I've read erotica, especially in my youth. I got like a hold of some erotica books. I was like, ooh, these are steamy. And that was fine. But this is not that. It's like not erotica. But
not
there are there's steamy bits. But I don't think that I'm a fan of the enemies become lovers storyline as much. Although I like Pride and Prejudice.
I didn't feel like they were like actually enemies. Like I feel like a lot of the
I agree.
A lot of the plot was like in her head, and she was all like, "Ooh, Joshua, ooh, and like whatever." And I listened to the audiobook too. I didn't like the girl. That's why I think maybe I didn't like the book. Like I wonder if I had read the book, if I would have somehow created a situation where it was more palatable. Is that the right word?
Like you insert your own voice into the
and
book,
somehow
right?
like made it make sense, right? But like,
and then you insert your own Joshua,
my actual husband,
your own Joshua. Weird.
I hate him too. No, just kidding. Yeah, I just thought like that was part of my frustration was like it seemed the character seemed like super immature and like made up half of the bullshit, and it was boring because it was like it felt like a formula that was like a one note kind of story. It took so long to get to that elevator scene, which is what the whole thing was about. And that was the only good part, like 3 paragraphs of elevator. And then it went back to the same old stupid story.
So just read the elevator over and over.
Totally. Like just read like chapter 4, paragraph 7 through 12. Like
well, when I reread it, I forgot, like I obviously read it so long ago, but I was like, the first part is really boring. I was like, when's it? I thought it got like steamier, better, faster. And I'm like, oh my God, like when are they going to get there? When are they going to get there? So sorry, guys.
But also like, oh, this is the game we play. This is the guess my t-shirt game. And like the whole thing was just like, who is this chick? Like, what is wrong with this girl? Like,
And like, why is she such a good employee? Like, why do they think she's so good? She doesn't seem to be working ever.
she's just constantly playing weird games inside her head with a guy like across the desk.
She's not from Ontario.
This is a story from BC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did an audiobook too, and I hated this book so much. Like
The real hating game.
Yeah, seriously. Like from the get-go, I did not like the book. I was like, I'm gonna give it at least 50% of the book. I could not get past as soon as I reached 50%, I shut it off.
Did you make it to the elevator scene? Was that 50%
yes,
of the way?
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's only like that's like 17% or something. Like
okay. If you're talking
yeah.
percentages, okay.
Yeah. So absolutely hated it. I did not like the audiobook. I don't like enemies to lovers, especially they're not enemies. Like
they're not real enemies.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
I feel they seem so immature. Even he seems immature in my opinion. And it reminded me of middle school. And I feel like I could tell. I didn't really do any research on the book. And without knowing who the author really was, like I could tell they were white. And not that that's like a bad thing. But I feel like you could tell that, yes. And I feel like you could tell that this was also their first book. And I hope it's their last.
Wow.
Ooh, hard.
Sorry, I hated this, but no, seriously, the whole time I was reading it, I would go to work and I'd be like, guys, I hate this book. Like,
they're like, why are you reading it?
No, seriously, they're like,
stop
why don't
reading
you just
it?
quit? And I'm like, no, because I have to talk about it.
I've been talking to you about at least half of it. That's what I've committed myself
at least
to.
half.
Yeah, totally.
I couldn't bring myself to watch the movie.
I didn't even.
The movie.
I keep forgetting that the whole point of this season is books and movies.
Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, if
you didn't like the book, you're not gonna like it.
You're really not gonna like the movie.
Okay,
way worse.
It stars Lucy Hale. And I feel like she's a good pick for the character.
Yeah.
But the character's gotta go. You're gonna try and be this big boss at this huge firm or whatever.
And you're being so immature the whole time.
So immature. I couldn't even like
I think neither of them should be promoted because they're not
they're
ready
very
for
emotional too. Yeah, I agree. Their decisions are so emotional. Yeah, it's so strange to me to like hate someone so much like that at work. Move on. There's like do something outside of work, possibly get a life. But I will say I'm so glad it was chosen because I would have never picked the book myself. And now I know, what if it could have been one of my favorite books? It wasn't. But it could have been. So
it could have been. I like that. Like the thing is, I wonder what other like of these light romance, steamy romance novels are like. Because if Lindsay like was researching and reading a bunch, and she's like, "This is the best of it," and she remember, I remember that was the best one. Like, imagine what the rest of them are like. I don't know.
Yes,
but
yes.
I read this like a while back. Like, and by read, I mean listen, but I read this a while back and Dan watched the movie with me and he was like, oh my God. But, like, not, oh my God, yay. Like, oh my God, like, this is just so hard to get through.
What was the elevator
yesterday
scene like in the movie?
Well, different.
She kissed him. Everything was different. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. So I'm probably frozen.
You better get it in right now.
We hear you.
Okay,
and
so
we can see you moving.
We'll message you if you freeze.
Take advantage of it right now.
Okay. So the elevator scene in the book was kind of like 50 Shades of Grey elevator scene. It was like super steamy. That he was like, I can't take it anymore. Like, I can't restrict myself anymore. I have to kiss her. Like, I have to, like, you know what I mean? Because the whole Pride and Prejudice thing is, I don't want to like you, but I'm in love with you. Like, I don't want to. Like, that's the theme that this woman was going through for. And the elevator kind of was like hot. And the movie was horrible. I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, well, at least the elevator scene will be good. And I feel like the casting of the guy in that was
They had no
horrible.
chemistry. There's no
He was
chemistry.
the worst casting
Well, they
ever.
didn't have
Like,
chemistry in the book.
True.
Yeah,
They
but
did if you
but
read
a
the
little
book.
bit more.
in the movie, he was smiling the entire movie. He smiled. His little smile.
That was
the
like a
whole movie, and
huge
you're like,
thing in the book that,
That's
I
supposed to be-
finally got to see him smile.
Yes, thank you, Ashley.
Yes,
Thank you.
like-
It's like he was smiling and smirking the whole time. I was like, oh
Yeah,
my
in the movie, they casted like the all-American boy. That wasn't the guy. It was like Edward from Twilight was a good casting. Christian
Mhm.
Grey in 50 Shades is a good casting. Like Mr. Darcy is like
Perfect.
almost amused by the girl being so inappropriate for him. Like he doesn't smile. He almost smiles with his eyes, being like, it's like it's mysterious. That guy was not mysterious at all. It was the worst casting ever. I was like, who is this guy? I don't feel like he's gonna be like, I can't take it anymore. I have to like take you in the elevator. Like, even though I've been mean to you for a year. Like it was not the vibe at all. And I was iffy on the book too. Like I've actually read way more steamier books, Schweitz. Way more
Ooh.
I'm sure.
Like she's blushing.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm sure you have. Sarah loves that kind of. I thought you might like the.
no.
Don't tell everybody.
Not publicly.
Not my
Well,
number one.
It's got that kind of. I think the book's got a bit of that kind of Twilighty 50 Shades of Grey thing too going, which I don't know if I forgot about that, but I don't know if I love the idea of the man like following her and like I don't know, like that kind of with 50 Shades of Grey and with all of those things. I don't really love that idea. Like I'm my own
agree.
person. Like
They're all spin-offs from Pride and Prejudice, but
Yeah.
they made the Mr. Darcy character darker. But I'm not into that either. I feel like, and I think the movie tried to make him nicer, but that wasn't the character they were playing. He wasn't
No.
playing this nice guy. He was playing kind of like the asshole, going
Well,
after
and
a
he
girl
was-
he would normally not go after.
Yeah, and he was so jealous. One of the scenes was like, oh, you go on this date with the other guy, or I forget his name. Go on the date with the other guy,
Danny.
and Danny, thank you. And if you don't, if I kiss better, then you never kiss him again. What the what? No, I would have quit and
Wait, you're
moved.
giving me a kissing
Like-
ultimatum? I'll go kiss everybody I want. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I would have been like, you didn't even kiss that. No, I couldn't deal with a guy
You didn't
like
even
that.
kiss great. No.
You've been mean to me for a year, and you're just gonna absolutely not like that. The type of romance where like a guy has to be mean to you first to like you, and then is still kind of mean to you. It's over. Like, what happened to like the really sweet men? What happened to like actual romance?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just like men are already so mean to women in general, and now we're gonna that's like a love
Now we're
thing.
gonna make it romanticize it, literally.
Yes, like everything he was
Totally.
doing, I rolled my eyes so hard, and I was like, pass. I would just I would just laugh in a guy's face if he was like that, especially at work. Nah.
At
couldn't-
I know
work.
at work's a bit weird. It was a bit weird that it was at work.
Super weird.
and then like the HR thing, like HR kept having to get involved because they were fighting so much. Like
And they're both up for that's what I don't get, and then they're both gonna have a promotion. Be like, no, you guys gotta deal with your
Yeah.
HR problems.
Yeah, like it's such a fairy tale world in it, which obviously it's a story, so I know not everything's supposed to be realistic. I don't want to live in that world. It's just or I don't want to work at a company where those two goofs would be
In charge.
up.
Totally,
Like I would be an employee there and be like, how did they get the promotion when I'm
Why
right
are they
here?
fighting in front of everybody again? Because I read this so long ago, I decided to like try to refresh my memory, and I was like looking up to see if somebody had like some kind of a review, like a video review or whatever. And I'd say first of all, this movie got like 71 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like
What?
crazy.
That's
And
really high.
people like, and then I couldn't find a ton of, I couldn't really find very many bad reviews. Like it was, I mean, if I looked, a lot of them were like, I love this book so much. I keep it, I reread it, I've read it so many times, and I love the
Really?
movie, and I've watched the movie 10 times. They go on about, oh, I love this part and that part, and it's like, it's so weird. Like, it's just, there were so many things where I'm like, this just is too much. Also, Danny, I think in the book he was supposed to be somebody that you would be jealous of, and in the movie they made it
Thank you.
they made it like
Yeah.
very, oh, I'm okay that I'm in the friend zone now. Let's go for a coffee and talk about your romance with that jerk you're attracted
Ah.
Yeah, Danny
to.
was
Don't
like,
you have any self-respect?
I felt like Danny was like super cool artistic type that
Had
while I was
self-respect.
reading the book. Right. I was like, and he's going off to do his own thing because he wasn't feeling the vibe of that company anymore. Like I felt like he was I felt while I was reading the book, I'm like, she actually should just go with that guy.
Yeah.
He's
But
not
then in the
hitting on her
movie, I
at
was-
work because until he decides to leave because it's inappropriate to date somebody at work, he's like, you know,
he seemed
a good guy.
wonderful. Like listened to her, was genuinely interested in her, and like
Real
helped
romance?
try and help her get like it seemed like legit. Said she was beautiful. Like anyway, whatever. I had a different image, and then in the movie, I was like, oh, they made him really dorky,
Goofy,
and
really goofy.
why?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
like why did
Okay,
they
see you
make
later,
him?
guys.
Yeah, so in the book, if he's like kiss him and decide if who you like better, Danny was a nice guy, but just because he's a nice guy doesn't mean he wasn't like a real threat. And in the movie, it made it look like he wasn't a threat at all.
Yeah, I think in the book it was more like
affection.
he was a great guy and she should like
Yeah.
him because he's wonderful, but the kiss was there was no chemistry. It was like kissing your brother. It wasn't because he was bad
Yes.
at it. It was because she didn't have the chemistry. I think that was the point of the book. And in the movie they're just like, well, he's probably never kissed a girl. That's like kind of the implication they're giving. Like,
in the book, also,
he's
like she
working,
was
he's in the friend zone.
in the book, it was supposed to be like she was secretly in love with him. So of course she wasn't going to go for this other amazing guy because she was secretly in love with the jerk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Book interrupted.
Hello. I have an interruption. I am interrupting myself. Go figure, eh? I'm on the GO train for the next few days, heading in from Kitchener to Toronto. I will be going to my very first North American Drama Therapy Association conference. I feel like this is a very big deal because I'm not even a psychotherapist yet, so I feel like a total imposter. And I'm super excited. Like I'm going to be meeting like people who are like famous in drama therapy world. So I have lots of excitement, lots of energy, and the interruption is that for the next few days, I'm going to be on the GO train for 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. So I'm like, oh my gosh, so much time. I loaded up all my devices with digital books, and I can't wait to read them. And yet here I find myself so full of energy. I am like literally bouncing off the walls. I want to like run laps around the train, do some push-ups and jumping jacks because I am just jacked. I am like full of anxious energy. So I'm like, great. I'm like, finally, I get this like wonderful alone time to just read and indulge, and yet I can't settle down. So here's hoping by the end of the days, I will have drained the energy tanks and will finally be able to sit down and read some nice books. But you know, at this point in time, I couldn't focus if my life depended on it.
Book interrupted.
I feel like, you know, that idea of the guy that you hate and that is kind of, I don't know, like the bad guy kind of thing. I feel like most people have dated somebody like that at some point in their life.
Yeah,
have you all dated somebody like that? I know Sarah has for sure.
We
Sarah's
more to
probably had a
follow.
few of those.
That's good. I blame Pride and Prejudice.
Mhm. But that's what I mean.
You hate
I-
me forever.
But I think it's pop culture
Blame
sometimes that like
Pride and
tries to teach
Prejudice.
you. But don't
I
you
don't
think
know
like
if I've dated someone who was like the bad guy, but I've dated guys that were mean to me, and maybe that's why I have such like angst against the enemies to lover thing. I'm just like, if you like someone, you should be nice to them.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
also
you, yes.
I also want someone who's nice to other people.
Yeah.
So you can't be a
Yes.
jerk to me or to other people. And so I think that's where I'm getting this trope is like not for me because I don't like mean people.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I do think
Quite
pop
simple.
culture's done that. Like
Mhm.
ideas like, you know, Pride and Prejudice or all those movies, or all, is that idea of, oh, well, the bad guy's the guy that you should go for because he's going to love you the hardest or
There's
whatever.
actually
Yeah.
like
The kid pulled your hair on the playground because he likes you.
Yes.
Maybe he
there's
likes
like
you.
a move like that is like taught to guys if they want to be a player or whatever, and I can't remember what
Ooh.
it's called, but it's like be nice and then like be mean twice and then be nice
Negging.
again. What's it called?
I think it's called
Oh,
no,
negging.
negging is
something
when
like
you
that. You're like,
you like
"Ooh,
give
I
a
like your
compliment, but
skirt,
it's a backhanded.
your
Yeah.
legs are a little short
Ew.
or whatever, right?
Oh.
It's in
But
the
it's
like
all
pickup
part of like
artist.
a handbook. Yes,
It's in the pickup artist?
Yeah, so there's a whole movement called pickup artists. And I've met one before, but that they study, and I've read books about it too, because I just found it fascinating. that
We
there's
should
all
read one
these
of these
techniques.
books on the podcast, and
Yeah.
we
We
learn all the
should.
things, and then warn ladies about it.
Yeah,
Man.
we should.
I
I,
love
mean, there's
that.
some
Men
things
too.
like
we should try it on
peacocking.
men.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. But there's things called maybe there's called peacocking where like men will wear brightly colored things in order to stand out. There's negging where they give like a compliment. Yeah, like your hair looks really cute because it covers your big ears. Where you're like, you just complimented me, but you said my ears were big. So like, I don't know. Picking like if there's 3 or 2 girls, you go and give attention to the less hot one, so that the hot one feels jealous because they always get the attention, and then they want you even more. Like it's gross. It's like there's so much, but a lot of men prescribe to it and like go to classes, and like there's a whole thing.
We call these
Yeah.
lonely men.
Yeah.
They're called lonely
these are
men
men
because they
that
will
don't
never
get
have a real
women.
relationship.
Yeah, they have like pick
It's giving
women
like
up.
Andrew Tate. It's that's I hope
there-
any men listening to this, please don't do that. You're not gonna
No.
be successful.
Aren't there
that
also
way.
men like I
unhappy
can't remember
eventually.
what the acronym is for guys that like want girlfriends but can't have them, and so they call themselves like I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Incel. It's in.
Involuntary celibacy.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh,
Celibacy was in there.
One of those guys.
And then they blame
like,
ladies for
yeah,
it. You're
they
like,
get all
well,
mad.
Right?
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
blame
Try
the
harder.
women.
There's probably a woman
Yeah.
out there for you if you were willing to try instead of fucking pouting about your involuntary celibacy.
I think the guy who
Yeah.
ran over a lot of people in Toronto with the truck or something was an incel, and he was blaming women, and so he like
Of course.
killed a whole bunch of people by taking
Mhm.
a car and killing them.
Yeah.
Their
because
fault
he
for
said
not
it was
having
women's
sex with me.
faults. He couldn't have. Yeah, he didn't
Big
have sex
blue
with them.
balls.
And you're like, yeah, it
Those big
kind
blue
of
balls
is.
took the wheel.
Fleshlight.
It's kind of, yeah, women don't want to have sex with you, but I mean, there's 2 parts of this story.
Also, like, wonder why. And that's how you handle your disappointment?
Mhm.
You kill people?
Vehicular
Right.
manslaughter? Like, no, thank you. I don't want to join in a partnership with you.
Yeah, you don't seem like
What
a
if I
great
upset
catch.
you? Like,
Mhm.
What the hell? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I
sorry.
didn't know about any of this.
We should do this.
Amazing.
What's it called? What's the book? We need a book that's about this.
the pickup
Well,
artist.
I read a book
Yes,
about
the
a
pickup.
journalist. I forget what it was called. I'll look it up. But a journalist who decided he was going to learn about pickup artists, and so he like dived into pretended he was part of the culture, but actually fell deep and ended up being part of the culture for a while.
Oh my!
Yeah, and
Oh,
like ended up living
wow.
with them and doing the things, and then he wrote in the
That's
book, he's like,
rough.
actually, I realized that was wrong, and that he got out of it and whatever. But
And now
it
I'm
was
writing a
dead.
book about it.
I remember it
teach
was a
other
Well,
good
it's
people.
like
book.
mob
but-
mentality, right? If you're you know, it's so easy to judge when you're not part of the mob, and then you're in the mob and it's like, oh my God, well, maybe I am like these people and yada yada, and then you just get, you know, real sucked in.
Yeah, you feel accepted into a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything can seem normal if you do it all the time. I mean, like, that's you see it all the time. You're like,
that's why
well,
normal is relative.
Everybody does that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why on like social media, you know, if you see the same things all the time, people start believing in lies or fake news or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Anyway, Sarah, want to tell us about your bad relationships?
let's dive in. Wait, but Lindsay, you have to tell us. You asked the question, but let's hear yours.
Yeah,
we've already done mine.
I generally tend to go for nice people, generally, but there was this guy once who was really beautiful, and I like he was so handsome and like
wore bright colors.
He
did
actually
the
shit out of me.
No, I think he did. I really think he was a pickup artist. Like he did learn all that stuff. And we dated for a bit, but he did a lot of things like negging. And I think I maybe was living with Sarah, or I knew Sarah. No, it would have been after that. But for some reason, I feel like Sarah is the one that told me, you got to get out of this relationship. She probably doesn't remember.
Was this the guy with the weird, with the apartment, the like sparse apartment?
Yeah, I think yes.
It might have been me too. I'd be like,
oh,
no,
yeah, and
no, that was me. That was me.
Oh, sorry, that was your guy, Sarah. Well, sorry, I'm getting mixed up.
The sparse apartment was
but did yours also have a sparse apartment?
Yeah, he had a pretty sparse apartment, actually.
Most guys have a sparse apartment.
Second apartment, maybe married. I'm just saying.
Oh,
sparse
this
apartment.
guy wasn't married.
This
He
guy
was
wasn't
just
either.
very.
I was like, why the sparse apartment of red flag? I was like,
or
like
doesn't want
American
you at his
Psycho?
real
Like,
house?
what are we thinking about here?
Or doesn't want you at his real house, so you don't know where he really lives. If you want to go and see him again, I'm just saying.
Oh,
well, that's gonna be
no.
protective.
That's
That's against the crazy girls. I don't like. How many of you are going back to someone's house unwanted?
I do. Well, I'm still here.
Still here. It's worked out every time since.
20
years later.
20 years. Can't get rid of it. He's trying to be as nice as he can, and it's not working. He's like, oh, these romance movies are telling me the wrong thing. This nice guy thing is not working at all. Sorry, go on.
Anyway, Lindsay.
That's it. That's all. He'd put me down and stuff and make me feel bad. But he was so subtle about it that it was over months and months where I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, why do I feel so bad about myself all this? Because I'm a pretty confident person, but I felt so bad about everything about myself. And then it clicked. I was like, oh, this guy keeps telling me I'm horrible. So that was it. So
like,
peace out.
Oh, I don't have to change. He's just, for some reason, trying to change me?
Change me into like something else. And I'm like, no.
So weird.
Get out of here. So yeah, but generally my partners have been I like nice people. I agree with Ashley there. I think kindness is the most important thing, and and for other
and it's
people
attractive.
It is attractive.
Like when I see mean people being mean, I'm like, ugh, like I just don't even want to be in their presence. And then you're around someone who's so kind, you want to continuously be around, like you're just drawn to them,
and you want to be kinder.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's infectious.
Yep. It really is. It's like a smile or a yawn.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like a smile or a yawn. I think that like before, I mean, obviously I've been with somebody for 20 years, but before that I was like usually very fast to drop somebody who started acting mean. I'd be like, I don't know. This is not good. I'm out of here. But I also really
what
love
do you
being
need to
alone,
be mean for?
Right? And you're like, I don't understand these mind games. Are you being jealous? I also hated jealousy. If somebody's jealous, I'm like, are you being jealous? And it's like, if I wanted to date somebody else, I would just end this and go date. Like I wouldn't be doing something with someone else and being with you.
That was my biggest issue, I think, with the guy in the book. The jealousy is too much. It's just like, I hate the jealousy. You bullied this girl for a year at work, and now she's talking to someone, and all of a sudden you're gung-ho, you're gonna go shoot him in a paintball arena. Like, for what? That is just that to me is so unattractive. Like, deal with your emotions in a better way.
Or ask her on the date first. And guess what? She wouldn't be going on a date with somebody else if she was going on a date with you. So
yeah, I'm getting incel vibes from him. That's just,
Keep him away from the vans. That's probably
Yeah.
not. That's probably a very poor taste joke. I retract.
I retract.
Okay.
Well, like I was going to say earlier about the following girls around, like obviously in real life, major problem, right? But like in the
Yeah.
story, when I don't even want to say this because it's like a major part of my personal journal, but like what I will say is that if something like that happened, it would at least become interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, ooh, is she in danger? Of course, I don't, I'm not promoting violence against women, right? But like, I do listen to true
Obviously.
crime all the time. And like, why? Because it's interesting. Do you know what I mean? To be like, wow, I can't believe that those people decided to do that to those other people, like, or whatever, right? So, I mean, if we're talking about this story and it's not very interesting, I'm kind of pro. Little
Throw
term
in
for
some crimes.
Yeah,
throw some crimes
cri-
into the romance.
Let's get some crimes in there.
Let's go
Or at
steal
least,
something,
like-
break in, like
Anything.
go through his
Or,
phone,
like-
do something.
Or maybe he saves her from somebody, something. Or Danny actually is a secret bad guy and he has to swoop in something.
I would
That
have
makes
loved
him
that. Yes.
Something.
Yeah, bad guy.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I went with
totally.
the
Bad
main
guy?
character being a secret bad guy.
I know you did.
Did you listen to my personal journal already?
No,
Oh.
I didn't.
She just
Oh,
But I
knows
just mean,
you.
I knew what you were saying. I was like, he can't be the bad guy. I have to turn this around. Danny is the bad guy.
He could have been the bad guy.
Yeah,
and it would have
no,
been
I
a whole
would have
different
loved
book.
if
And
Danny
that would
was a
have been
bad
fine.
guy. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it would have betrayed the
agree.
audience though, because people like get these kind of books to have some kind of a safe escape that has romance or whatever. That
No, because Danny could have been the good
arguably is
guy.
just- but like we're saying, this guy has insulted her for years and treated her poorly. Now she's gonna
Yeah.
date him. So
It might have been
safety
doing a
is relative, I
service
guess.
to the audience,
Mhm.
not
You
a
wouldn't
betrayal.
want if you're picking
That's
up this
true.
romance novel, you don't want like somebody a predator like scene. That's all I'm saying.
If he's a predator,
Right?
then Danny could be the good guy, right? It would
That's
probably be
true.
short-lived. I agree with
Mhm.
you, Mare, because people are not looking for a psychological thriller. They're not looking for any
They're
kind
not
of thriller
looking for
if they're
something
reading
that's
this
going
book.
to trigger some trauma memory, right? Like they're just looking for. I just want a little bit of kissing, maybe an elevator scene, maybe a little bit heavy petting. Who knows? I don't know.
180 pages of immature back and forth imaginary fighting.
I just
and
want to be
then-
reminded of my elementary school crush where we made fun of each other and held hands at one time. And then what
Yeah.
would happen if we were adults?
Did you guys read anything by Emily? I think it's Giffen.
Oh,
There's-
I know. I haven't.
I don't
but
know
the-
any
like
names.
something borrowed or
Yeah,
something, right?
that's right. So
Yeah.
there's like something borrowed, and then the next one might be like something blue. Like she wrote, and anyways, it's
Mhm.
like this, but better. So, like, and I don't know if she's also the one that's Can You Keep a Secret? That was also a pretty good one. Anyways, so they have the same kind of similar formula, but like I was really surprised, Schweitz, that you dove deep into romance novels and this was the best one. Because I think that there's even when you were saying that too, I was like, what about Twilight? Like Twilight.
We can't do this on this podcast. We've already done it. What we do is we should do like an April Fool's, pretend we did Twilight and just piece together all of the episodes with us talking about Twilight, and people would just think we read it.
It's
April
just
That would be hilarious.
all it is
Only
that
Sarah read it.
Twilight crosses boundaries. Twilight is so applicable in all conversations, right? And that's how great Twilight is that you can
You're gonna get her
relate it
started.
in
She's gonna be
any
like, exactly.
conversation.
My goodness.
Do you
You can't just
know
hold
that
it
we
back.
we talked about Twilight the most in The Handmaid's Tale? Like it's so.
It's not even about The Handmaid's Tale. It's just about Twilight.
We talked about the most during that book cycle, and it's just like I must have been just so in it at the time because there's nothing like there's no similarities whatsoever.
Sarah is obsessed with Twilight. Like obsessed. I
Should
feel.
not
love
take a
it.
drink when we start talking about Twilight. I can't handle it.
Sorry.
I wonder if I'll ever read it.
Well, we've talked about we're like, what should the next season be about? I'm like, it has to be about something where we can actually read Twilight. Like we have to just read Twilight.
Everyone just has to pick the
Vampires.
first, second, third, and fourth book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I was just gonna ask you what you guys thought, both in the book and in the movie. The dad scene where she defended him was the most as my daughter would say, cringy part for me. Like super cringy in the book, and then even worse in the movie, because it just didn't feel like it. The opportunity didn't actually seem like that would happen. Did anyone else have an opinion about that?
Yeah,
Can
it was very
someone talk
cringy.
about what happened with the dad? I feel
The
like
dad
maybe I
like
didn't.
treats the son kind of bad, but really like it's a misunderstanding in some way, shape, or form, because the dad's like disappointed that the son's not a doctor, but
He thinks he's
this-
a failure.
yeah, but the son's actually the doctor of journalism or whatever the fuck he does, and like so.
It doesn't seem to work at all to me. I'd be like, yeah, he's not working. He's just playing around with this lady.
And then
Hey,
so
I
she
don't
stood,
think
she
I
was
read
like,
that.
"You don't
He's
even know your
brilliant.
son. He's so impressive," and blah, 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 and like said how
And she
great he is.
defends him.
At
Yeah.
at the breakfast for his ex-fiance's wedding to his fucking brother. Like, what was with that subplot?
Okay,
I
okay,
know,
so
that
I
was
stopped
weird
reading
too.
before the wedding happened.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so
There
that's
was a
weird.
lot. I don't know. I think
There's
it
a
kind
lot.
of like they built it up of being like he's this broody guy, his father's broody too, and they need the woman who's going to stand up for them
Oh,
and speak for
totally.
them and all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? So I felt like that scene kind of made sense. Like it was like, well, she's kind of showing that she is like the mom and she is going
Yeah.
to stand up, and then the
Definitely.
mom's like,
That's true.
yeah, you go girl, you are exactly. So
Like,
to me,
You
it's
are
like,
what he needs.
but Sarah
Yeah.
would never do that, so that's probably why. The idea of like talking back to a father-in-law in
That
front
you
of
just
everybody.
met? Like if she just met him?
At like a wedding breakfast, like with all the
Yeah.
people
At
there,
someone's
like,
wedding? Like,
And
this
you-
isn't about either of them. It's about the wedding couple. Like,
and it's a very
it's-
new relationship.
this is
Like,
more
it
of
seemed
a
bit-
This is more of a Thanksgiving conversation, thanks.
Hey,
This
I have
whole
stood up
book-
for Laird before and then said stuff, so maybe not like that. I make them jokes or like say things, whatever. But yeah, like I would. I wouldn't say it like that, but I would be feisty, kind of like her. So,
Oh, well, there you go. It's just
Good.
me because I'm just like, oh, horrible.
That's
What
It
are
very
was
you
nice.
doing?
conflict. It was
Yeah.
conflict.
Let's
Yeah.
just skip that chapter.
Run away.
yeah,
Away.
that's too much conflict for Sarah. Yeah.
That's like Pride and Prejudice level conflict where everyone's like says something like, oh, then they weren't proper and they didn't whatever. They didn't
And then it's over.
say goodbye
Great.
properly. They just got into the
Yeah.
carriage and walked
And it's
away.
over.
Oh my god. Can't believe you talked to a person who is with a higher status than you.
Do you guys typically like reading romance? Because for myself, I've tried and I don't think I do because I don't personally like books that are predictable, I guess, and I think a lot of romance movies or romance books can be predictable. So I find I have a hard time reading them. So I feel like that might also be one of the issues I had with the book, is that it kind of was a little predictable in some ways. What about you guys?
I feel that
Agreed.
I think that's right, because when Mara was like, "Oh, that would be a betrayal to the audience," I was kind of like, "Well, if I'm the audience, I want a twist." But back to the point of what the audience is looking for, potentially that predictability. They want to know happy ending is coming. And I'm with you, Ashley. I don't want to be able to foretell the end of the book. Otherwise, why am I reading it? Like if I know what's going to happen, kind of thing. So I think that's a great way to put it.
I don't know. I like the. I mean, I'm not a huge romance. I mean, I've read enough of them now. Like, but when I do, if I'm going to pick up this book, I want to know that I don't have to think about it, that I'm sitting on a beach, that there's no plot twist, that I know that he is going to end up with her and they're going to be happy in the end. There's going to be a conflict in the middle. There's going to be some sexy scenes, and then everyone's going to go
Formula
off in their merry
complete.
way.
Yeah.
Formula complete. Like if I'm going to pick up something like that, that's what I want. I think that's why this book's probably so popular too, is that it kind of fills that bad guy fantasy and the, predictability and a little bit of conflict, but nothing that's going to, cause you drama or stress or anything while you're sitting, escaping because you've had a really hard day at work or, whatever it is. So
Right. It doesn't
I-
raise any like existential questions. It's just like it's like watching a rom-com. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I could go for like the intense like documentary about some wrong in the world, or maybe I want to watch a rom-com today because I just need to laugh and not worry about something that I'm worrying
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
So yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
I've read a lot of romance, but that's not my number one. I only read romance as like a palate cleanser. So if I read a really heavy book or a thriller or sometimes a murder mystery, I like cozy murder mystery too. So if I've read a
Cozy
thriller,
murder.
if I read a thriller or something more heavy, more dense topics, then I either want a cozy murder mystery or a romance just to get space. So for me, I have a whole bunch on my library app of either romance or cozy ones just ready to go, just in case I've read something that I'm like, oh, the world's a horrible place. I'm like, oh, great. I know this formula.
That's sweet.
And usually cozy murder mysteries also have a little romance in them. Always.
Yeah.
I prefer them because they have a little bit of romance, but there's still like a fun murder mystery happening on the side. But other romance ones I thought were good.
Fun murder.
A little murder on the side.
Nobody's really getting murdered in these, of course.
But then like, you know, beach read, book lovers, they all have the same formula. Like they'll have like some sort of conflict within the characters, but the romance is there, so you know it's all gonna work out in the end. So I kind of like that. But this one, I feel like there was some things missing for me in this one. There wasn't enough. I got problems with Lucy. Like I needed her to have more issues or something and him's issue to be more obvious for it to feel interesting for me, I guess, for a romance. I don't know. I guess I like romances between people that are a little bit broken.
More human.
That's
Broken.
horrible. Yeah, more human, more like with real issues. Like my favorite ones are the Brown sisters. I mentioned this in my personal journal, so I won't talk too much. But the Brown sister books are amazing and they're very steamy. They made me blush when I read them. But both the male character and the female character both are like real people with all their anxieties and problems and maybe health problems or whatever. And that makes it more enjoyable for me for some reason. But yeah.
I think it's the
more realistic.
eroticism. 'Cause there was only one elevator scene in this movie. And you're like, these are steamy and they have problems. I think you're under
I
highlighting
think it's a steamy bit.
the steaminess that's keeping you engaged. But that's also
all
like,
love
that's
a
what I
little
wanted
porn.
more of, truly, from this book. I was like, okay, if these guys are stupid, fine. But I need like an elevator scene every fucking 30 pages then. Like, let's get on. Like,
I
like, one
remember there
elevator
being
scene?
more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought there was more steaminess too. I obviously did not remember. It was so long ago.
But you
did
were
not
reading a
remember
lot
this
of
book.
romance.
I
Perhaps
was.
you integrated. Some
I might have.
scenes.
Maybe you were looking for a break from so much steaminess, and you're like, "Oh, thank gosh, this was a little bit."
Yeah, I remember it being.
Those
good.
other ones are too
It's like-
stressful.
Yeah,
My heart.
so-
My poor heart.
I still think it was like light and fluffy and cute.
It
and,
wasn't like the worst
wasn't
thing
hard.
ever.
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it
Listen,
wasn't the
people
worst
love
thing
this
ever.
book.
Yeah.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, people
So
love
many
this
people, yeah,
book.
so many people do. Yeah,
Like,
I was reading a
rereading
lot
it.
of reviews on Goodreads, and it was almost all positive.
Like
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah,
we're just
for
not
sure.
the audience for this book.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
agree. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
fun.
there's an audience, and if you're in that audience, you might even want to buy the book and read it over and over and over, like many people do. And I don't know. I wonder what that demographic is. I don't know.
Younger.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe
I
younger?
feel like
Still in high
my-
school.
No.
Older.
You don't think
Older
so?
than high school.
Keep guessing.
I think
Younger.
I think
College?
Older. moderate.
they
University?
just started.
In between.
Yeah.
University started their first job, maybe. You know what I mean? Like that.
I don't know. I
They're-
think someone older might like beach ready, kind of like read it on the beach kind of thing. No?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Me? Maybe?
Lindsay.
The
Oh, I really-
older
I
and
don't
the
know.
40s.
It wasn't what I
and
remember.
40s.
Not
Yeah.
married yet.
Although I did
45.
just, I'll tell you guys, I did just read this book called Fourth Wing. Have you guys heard about it? It's not about a book, but
I've heard
It's-
of them. Yeah, I've heard
it's
of
a huge thing. There's 3 books now, and it's about this like, this sounds really cheesy, but it's about kind of like Harry Potter meets Hunger Games. And the,
I have heard them.
yeah,
I'm into
and, and so
People
I read
love
and,
them.
Yeah, the people, and I, you know,
Crazy
it's kind of
about
about this dragon, like it's like dragon riders, and like this sounds really weird, but if you just dive into there is some like sexy scenes, not more like not super sexy bits, so it's not for kids, but it's Yeah, it was actually quite entertaining, and it's like a full story, and there's conflict and drama and wars and like all that stuff. I
Love
would
it.
recommend trying it and see. Yeah, it really reminded me a bit of the Hunger, because it's like you have to pass this, like the students have to pass all these tests to be able to become a dragon rider. So it's got that like Hunger Gamesy. They're all dying, like all the kids are dying from the school in order to pass to become. Anyways,
We love a good dying kids book.
exactly. So
I
there
really-
you
That
go.
should be our theme
Honestly.
for
Right on
next
brand.
year.
Dying
Books
kids.
where
Books
kids
where children
die.
die.
And each book, more and more kids die.
This one, only 2
Horrible.
children died.
Yeah.
It's
We
a
start them with a
reimagining of
singular
Hansel and
murder.
Gretel.
There is a like uptick in romance palate cleansers.
Yeah.
Should every other
I know.
book should have to be reading a romance.
Another romance constantly. Oh my god, the season's killing me.
I have to believe more children will be born.
Just so they can be murdered.
Baby making books.
Oh my god.
Wow.
But that called fantasy romance
Genre?
new category, genre. Fantasy romance is huge right now, like massive. Like all the people are talking about it. Publishers are looking for people writing like fantasy romance specifically
It's
because
got
it's
half of
blown up.
this-
People are crazy about it.
I feel like that was what Twilight had. I feel like Hunger Games, like
Thank you.
Lindsay's saying. I don't know how to describe the reader that wants that, but like I feel like it's like an added layer
know.
onto the romance. Like just the romance is like a little bit, for me personally, too formulaic. Fine, but throw in some weird utopia or dystopia and a romance, then okay, I can stick with this. You know what I mean? Like,
Me
what is
too.
gonna go on? Right. And so maybe
Anything. I
Not
like
to
the
circle it
fantasy.
back to the Hunger Games, but
No.
the Hunger Games.
But
the other person
a
upset for
direct
sure.
a direct quote from the first one. Snow says like
Direct quote.
Quote, you know, it's a
Yes.
512. Snow says like hope is it's dangerous because it's what keeps people going. And I feel like in a dystopian type of war setting or like, you know, action type of thing, that romance added to it is that hope that gets you through the, like, it's for you to hold on to kind of thing, and it humanizes it. And I think that's why it's so popular. Like,
And it helps compel the story.
yeah.
Broadens the audience too, because like part of the
Yeah.
audience is going to be more wanting the romance and one more wants to know what's going to happen in this dystopia or utopia or whatever.
Or a
in
murder
between.
mystery. Yeah.
Or a murder.
The B story as a romance works. I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm
Yeah,
all
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my A storyline. That's a good way to put it. So
Yeah.
hating
Yeah.
game, there was nothing wrong with it, but it was missing the A storyline. I'm
A
looking for.
storyline.
I could take that
Yeah.
B storyline, but it needs to be mixed with some vampires or, you know, a tournament of death.
Excitement.
Like one of them will get the job and the other one will be publicly executed.
Totally, that I meant.
Damn it, rewriting that. That's what I should do instead of romance novels. Rewrite romance novels to add the
Yes.
elements
Yes.
of death in there.
death.
Please do. That would be so
This
amazing.
needs more dead children in it. Can we introduce a new character?
Just to kill them off.
The page boy, or the, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
The errand boy.
Page boy.
The
Or the pool
intern.
boy.
The intern. Okay.
Oh,
yes.
So would you
so
guys
good.
recommend the book and or the movie?
I never watched
I-
the movie, so I can't say about that.
Oh,
yet.
did you not watch it? Oh.
I am an idiot. I forgot even like what the theme of the season is. We came like when you were in your freezing stages, I was like,
Yeah.
there was a movie, and then I was like, oh wait, like that's the whole point of what we're doing this year. Like I had a big brain fart. So
That's okay.
no, I did not watch the movie.
It's not worth it. Don't watch the movie.
Okay, good. That's also what everybody else said.
The book was better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't recommend it.
I would
wouldn't-
recommend it
fine.
as a one note pony.
I have
That's
not
like a
recommended
swinging
it
That's
to
the
any of
saying,
my
right?
friends.
A singing
Yeah.
pony?
One note.
One note
so
pony.
more like a mooing pony.
Or like a donkey. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one note one-note pony, otherwise known as a donkey.
He's
It's
an
the
ass.
ass of books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't donkeys famously known for going 2 notes?
Hee-haw.
Hee-haw.
It's true. That's why I said a one-note
True.
horse, otherwise known as a cat.
It's gone totally off topic.
Famously, donkeys are known for this. This hee-haw sound.
Either or.
Okay,
Not enough-
Ashley,
Not enough
book?
notes for me is the summary. To conclude,
Next.
I need more notes.
Yeah, no, I have not recommended this to anyone. I've very much been advocating to not read it. So
Wow.
like I will
I started a GoFundMe.
yeah, seriously. Like you should see my Snapchats from like the last month or so. I'm just like, I fucking hate this book. I don't know why I'm reading it. I'm struggling. But like I really to my core did not like this book. I will say though, there are people out there who would like it. I'm just personally not recommending it.
Oh, I think those
And I
people
will
got
not
a
be-
hold of your audio.
You froze for a second.
They
there.
muted you. They were like, there are
and-
people who like it. That's enough. out of
See,
you.
oh my gosh. Yeah, just
She's
not
already being
recommended for me,
silenced.
but much love to everyone else who likes it.
That was very
Much
diplomatic of you.
And
I hated
conclusion-
it, but it's
I
okay
love
if you
you
like
guys.
it.
You do.
Yeah, I just don't talk to me about it. I already talked about it and I'm good.
It's over now.
Yeah.
I finally made it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend the book or movie. It wasn't for me, but I am very curious about like who the people who do love it. It'd be nice to have like a survey. Like, did you love this book? And like, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Survey. Like,
What kind of a person are you?
who is this audience? Because if
What
I
other
could
things
figure
make
that
you
out,
happy?
right? Then I could be like, hey, if I meet somebody like that, I could be like, hey, I'd have a book for you. But I don't know who.
Oh,
the people
100%, yeah.
is.
I would love to make up a checklist. Like the ideal reader of this book likes
We should do that. That would be
Pinterest.
fun.
That would be
and
super fun. Yeah.
we'll make a little list, and then one day we'll meet that person, the personification of our list, and we'll be like, "I got a book for you."
We have a quiz.
There you go.
A book interrupted quiz.
No dead children.
You
Yeah.
take the
No
quiz.
dead children.
No dead children in this one. It's got an A plot, no B plot.
Yeah.
Goodness.
That'd be interesting though. Do the
Single
book
plot.
interrupted quiz and then say, "Here's your book recommendations from our podcast."
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to work
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But like,
We could do
but
that.
first thing you need to know is who likes this book. We have to find
Yeah.
somebody who loved it, so we can ask them questions about what kind
Well,
of pie
we
they
do
like.
have
some crowd research.
a couple different ways that people could get a hold of us if they weren't so damn bashful. Like we should call our
Damned
listeners
bashful.
the dwarfs or something, but only
The dwarves.
seven bashfuls. Because
Yeah.
they never want to talk to us. They don't email us. They don't leave us voicemails. They don't comment. They don't rate.
We
I
can,
think that they're
people
all
can leave
bots.
voicemails for us.
Yes.
That's
Yes!
Phone number.
I'll get
That
the phone
is
number.
so fun. Yes, that is cool.
Right? And nobody's even crank
I'll
calling us
get it.
except for Lindsay one
I don't
time.
even know it off
Like,
by
and she's
heart
part of the
because
group.
No one calls us on it.
I
I
did
just
do
start
it.
leaving my thoughts on every chapter.
Totally,
I can
you
look it
should
up.
do that. That would be so great if you started like being like, I hate this fucking book. You
I will look up the phone number because if you go to our website,
Yeah, do it.
it's at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Oh,
of
good.
the-
Look it up because I was trying.
It's right at the, if you go to the website,
It's about-
bookinterrupted.com, it's like right all the way at the bottom. There's the email, which is connect@bookinterrupted.com. And then there's the phone number, which is a real phone number. It's the Canadian one. So our international number is what? 001?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
001. Yep.
It's
Oh,
416.
001.
Everyone's got to stop saying numbers.
Oh,
or I'm not
yeah.
gonna be able to get the phone number.
17, 49.
Okay. So the phone number is 416-900-8603.
Please call us. Tell us if you like the
Um,
hating game.
But also, you can, if you want to send something and you don't want to phone a real phone number, which some people don't, you can just like record a voice memo on your phone and email it to us.
Yeah.
Oh,
works too.
cool.
And
What's
what's
your
our
voice?
email again?
Okay, it's
Fast.
connect@bookinterrupted.com. That's connect@bookinterrupted.com. But also to the point about the reviews, if people leave reviews and like preferably higher star ratings would be nice. but it does go like towards making us more visible out there. So if you like the show, just give us a review. If you comment on the review, maybe we'll read it on air. But if you don't want to comment, just click those stars. That kind of help us because we do all this. Sarah does most of the work.
Yes,
We're
thank you,
independent.
Sarah.
No, but everybody
We're independent.
helps. Yeah. We're
That's nice of
independent.
you.
Yeah.
That's
We're
nice
not.
of you.
We're
Like,
independent.
other people help here and there, the way that children help bake a cake. You know.
Thanks.
We're here for the content.
Just joking. Well, I feel like I'm not helping very much, so I'm like the child spilling the flour on the floor.
Is Kim calling the book interrupted number? Oh, I thought
Right
she was
now.
calling right now. I was like, don't do
She
that.
No,
Setting a
my
prank.
stupid son is trying to call me and hanging up on me, so I'm just trying to answer the phone.
No.
Oh,
well, what are you
okay,
gonna
that's
do?
okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to
All right.
finish it off.
well,
I didn't say if I recommended the book. Nobody
Mhm.
knows.
oh, sorry.
Well, you did
Oh yeah,
choose
it's your
it.
book.
I recommended the book to everybody, but when I reread
You
it,
did.
no, I you know what? I think there's a time and place for it. Obviously, when I read it before, I liked it, and that was the time and place. Obviously, now I'm in a different place or a different person, and I found once you got past the first boring part, once the elevator scene hit, I liked the rest of the book. And yeah, it's not a thinker. It's not a you're not gonna remember this forever, obviously, because I didn't. But if you're on, I don't know, if you want a light read you're gonna escape and like a very, very soft core light romancy thing, then I think this book could be for you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Great.
And not the movie.
great.
No
And not the
recommendation on the
Not the
movie.
movie.
Especially if you read the book, because the movie's different. So it's another case
Yeah.
of that. So if you really like the book, don't watch the movie.
And if you really like the
Yeah.
movie, maybe you'll really, really like the book.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
Yeah. Yep.
You
Keep
love
saying, 'cause the
you
book's
like the
better.
movie, you'll love the book. Yeah.
And
I
tell
think
us
so.
if you
Yeah.
liked the movie so we can understand.
We want to know what kind of pie you like to eat and your favorite pastime,
How old you are,
your favorite color.
where you work.
What's
Your job.
What's your hair color, eye color, age, height, weight?
If you were an animal, what would it be?
Are you
What's your
first
mother's
or
maiden
second
name?
born?
Oh no, maiden name and your social insurance number.
Credit card and the security number.
What a fraud.
What a fraud.
I hope everybody knows that's a joke.
Yeah, I don't send that to me. Please. Danger.
Danger! I can't resist.
I don't want it.
I'm gonna steal your identity. I can't stop myself.
Danger. You've been warned.
No. But if they send it to me, how many other people did they send it to? And all of a sudden I'm being accused of something. You have her social insurance. I did, but I didn't.
All right, that was my book, The
all
Hating
right.
Game.
That was your
Beautiful.
book.
I did not
Great.
hate this recording though. This was fun.
Yes.
I
See?
agree.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Go. We don't have to love the book to have fun
That's true.
talking about it.
No.
If you've enjoyed these video highlights, listen to the full episode on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember to like and subscribe and ring that bell to be notified when new episodes are published. Find out more by going to www.bookinterrupted.com.
Never forget, every child matters.